Hey soldiers, gas prices are set to increase again thanks to the engineering of the brain trust that runs the United States of America.
Now, I understand everyone's shit's emotional right now, but listen up. I got a 3-point plan to fix everything.
Yeah, energy prices are going up, and it's due to the malfeasance and economic ignorance, both combined, of people like Gavin Newsom, who recently called for taxing oil companies during a fuel crisis, mind you. Now, Gavin Newsom is probably going to be the Democrat nominee for the president of the United States in a couple of years. You can best believe the whole country, Democrats included, they may not tell you, some will, but most won't, that they are ready to deep six Joe Biden. A lot of Democrats are still embarrassed that they voted for him, and surely I can understand that. I'm embarrassed for them. Governor Gavin Newsom is calling on state lawmakers to impose a new tax on oil companies as gas prices continue escalating in California. But industry experts say the tax would add more costs for consumers and could destabilize the oil business. Of course it will add more cost to consumers. And the reason that's going to happen is because they're going to pass the tax on to the consumer. Companies are in business to make money, not to provide us with free, in this case, gasoline.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
Now, if Gavin Newsom really wanted to help the people of California with this gas crisis, what he could do is suspend or lower California's tax on fuel. It's 53.9 cents. So for every dollar that you put into your tank, California is getting almost 54% of that dollar. For every dollar you put in your tank in California, you're getting 47% of the fuel. Okay, so you're not getting $1 for every dollar you put in. No, not even half. This is California, but it's the oil company's fault, right? The fuel tax is in the immediate control. They could do it tomorrow. He could sign it with a flourish, and he could slick back his perfectly coiffed hair, okay, for a photo op while doing it.
Yeah, baby.
Will he? No. He will try to continue to blame it on the oil companies, which should just get together and say, hey, we're going to leave California for 6 months and see how that works out. And look, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an apologist for the oil companies, but guess what? I am a realist and I'm not a hypocrite. So I know that my life, my economy, my family is powered by what the oil companies provide. Prices at the pump in the Golden State are the highest in the nation, climbing again this week to an average of $6.41 per gallon as of October 4th. This is according to the Automobile Club of Southern California. The governor claimed on September 30th that refinery issues and the state's high gas taxes were not to blame. So he's saying that even though he's taking 53.9 cents out of every dollar that you put in your tank, that first dollar, every dollar, 53.9% of that is air. Okay? You don't start paying for gasoline until you get up to past 53.9 cents. But gas taxes, that's not the problem, so says Gavin Newsom. It just doesn't add up. And oil companies, they provide no explanation. They don't need to provide an explanation, Gavin Newsom. Pick up a newspaper and a textbook on macroeconomics, and you will have your explanation, okay? As these prices increase, which the gas companies, the oil companies, do not set these prices, with the exception of Saudi Aramco. They do because they're part of OPEC. Exxon doesn't. Okay, Royal Dutch Shell does not. They don't set these prices. The state's Energy Commission sent a letter the same day to refinery executives asking them to explain the price increases, pointing to lower than normal inventories of gasoline as a possible contributing factor. Yeah, if you've got demand but less supply, you're going to get higher prices. Dumbass. So that's what he's out there talking about. And this, we're good. If you put him in office, prepare for more. And by office, I mean the White House. Prepare for more of what you're getting right now. Now, I know some will look at him and say, oh, wow, that guy looks like a movie star out there in California. His hair is perfect. His tan is perfect. Oh, look at his smile. Okay, well, if you vote based on those things, on charisma, then, yeah, you are a glutton for punishment if you vote for Gavin Newsom. There's another aspect of this. President Biden, you remember when he went over to Saudi Arabia and did his little fist bump, thought his Wonder Twin powers would activate to lower oil prices as a result of the Saudis saying, we're going to help you out. They did agree to up production by only 1 million barrels, and they said they weren't going to put it all out at once, and it was only going to be temporary. So now he's pissed off at him. Biden blast short-sighted OPEC Plus cut, blames U.S. energy firms for surging pump prices. Only Joe Biden would blame the Saudis, get pissed at them on the one hand because it's a production issue, and then blame U.S. energy firms as well. This is why the Democrat logo is a jackass. Rystad Energy analyst Louis Dickinson was on Bloomberg TV earlier today and explained a much tighter oil market is ahead following the announcement of OPEC Plus cuts. We're now steering down into a much tighter oil market for the remainder of the fourth quarter of 2022, in particular December of 2022, where we could see a split from surplus to draws, Dickinson said. He also pointed out OPEC Plus could, in fact, sort of unintentionally spur a bit of a super cycle in pricing, and this is a bit of a precarious situation to put the market into. This is why Joe Biden is pissed off about it, because that, the prices are going to be rising going into the election. Now, they've already lost, okay? The polls are total BS. You see who some of the people they got running? I think this guy up in Pennsylvania. He literally cannot form coherent sentences.
I gave away the lieutenant governor in Pennsylvania, the only lieutenant governor in the history to do that. And let's get some stuff done for America. Who would ever think that I would be the normal one in the race here, like that?
But he is a competitor for the United States Senate. Pennsylvania. What are you guys thinking about? White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said after today's production cuts, quote, OPEC Plus is aligning with Russia, unquote. It's all Russia's fault, right? Oh, these people are they're so shameless, okay? Maybe OPEC is thinking, well, we just want to make money. Maybe that's it. You were just in Saudi Arabia. And mind you, our president went to them. Power is not supposed to travel. But he groveled and went over to them and asked for a production cut. And they gave him little or nothing for a temporary amount of time. Now, they're aligned with Russia. So aren't we supposed to be one of the number one intelligence gathering organizations here in the United States? Our capability to do that is supposed to be bar none. Well, why didn't you know he was aligned with Russia before our president went over there to meet with him? This is the kind of thing. These are not serious people that are involved in running the United States of America. The Biden administration is absolutely furious with the Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting countries, known as OPEC, and its allies, including Russia, for agreeing to slash oil production by 2 million barrels a day. CNN's chief congressional correspondent, Manu Raju, tweeted that President Biden responded to the OPEC Plus cut announcement by saying he's concerned and called it unnecessary. Joe Biden wouldn't know how to do business his way out of a wet paper bag. This guy spent my entire life in the comfortable confines of the upper echelon of American politics. He knows nothing about business. And at this point in his history, he's not even capable of learning it. All right, so what is Biden going to do? Well, instead of anything substantive, because again, he's not worried about actually solving the problem. He's worried about trying to keep as many House and Senate seats as possible. So at the president's direction, the Department of Energy will deliver another 10 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to the market next month, continuing the historic releases the president ordered in March. And they're touting this as if, they are doing something that's monumental and great. You shouldn't be crowing about depleting the Strategic Petroleum Reserve because that is meant for emergency situations. And if your policies, Mr. President, were focused on really solving the energy crisis for Americans, then you wouldn't have to release oil from that reserve. All right, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve has now been depleted since President Biden took office from 640 million barrels to 450 million barrels. And of course, that is going down to 440 million barrels once we do this next allocation. So 200 million barrels we're down, since Joe Biden took office. This is like running your car on the reserve tank, all right, and just not even bothering to even look for it. You're driving past gas stations as your car is on the reserve tank. This is the equivalent of what he's doing with these Strategic Petroleum Reserve deductions. This is his policy. And to add insult to injury, the price to get your car from point A to point B, take your kids to school, drive you to work, of course, we just covered how that's going up. But then when you come home and try to be comfortable in your home, Americans are staring down increased heating costs as winter approaches. Home heating costs in the United States are expected to exceed usual costs this winter amid the growth of natural gas exports. So, because Europe is having such a problem with its dependency on Russia, we are hiking up the exports to try to help them fill in the gaps and save their people's lives. And what that's going to do is that's going to raise the price of our domestic supplies of natural gas that you get to heat your home. So our issue will not be that of availability. It will be an issue of affordability. Natural gas, which is used in both home heating and electricity generation, is in particularly high demand as Europe seeks supplies from the U.S. and elsewhere following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And what they might want to add, because this story just came out 6 hours ago, they might also want to say that there is no room now for negotiation to get gas from the Nord Stream pipeline because somebody has blowed it up. For American consumers and Americans in the Northeast in particular, that could lead to higher bills. Oh, you don't say. So less supply could lead to higher bills. You got to love the media. It certainly appears that we are going to continue to see relatively high natural gas prices in the U.S., said Harrison Fell, a senior research scholar at the Columbia University Center on Global Energy Policy. We're going to see higher bills for a lot of customers throughout the U.S. The country is already seeing high prices for natural gas this year, so we're going to get even higher. And this is going to impact Americans because it's not just going to be heating your home, or providing electricity to your home. It's also going to be a situation where the grocery store you go to, they're going to have a higher bill too. And in order to maintain their profits, they're going to have to probably increase the price of items that you need to feed your family. Of course, in the first part of this video, we talked about the gas prices okay, going up. And remember, California is seeing, they've got the highest gas prices in the union. Think about all the freight, especially produce, that comes out of California. So those truckers have to pass that hike on to who? All of this stuff. So he's talking, again, Gavin Newsom's talking about the oil companies are the problem. No, you are the problem, Gavin Newsom, and anybody that thinks like you. Because this is all going to roll downhill onto the American consumer and deprive you of your ability to purchase assets or to purchase as many assets as you otherwise could. But you still have to. I don't care if you got to say, hey, you know, last year I was able to invest $100 a week. And this year I feel kind of, you know, bad because I can only invest $50 a week. Do it. $50 a week is better than $49 a week. It's better than nothing, okay? So stay in the game after you've done your due diligence, because I can assure you that people like Gavin Newsom, and I believe he's related to Nancy Pelosi some kind of way. Let's call her Aunt Nancy. Gavin's Aunt Nancy and him, they're still investing. They're loving the fact that asset prices are depressed right now, because they're picking up more of them, all right? Shouldn't you think about doing the same? All right, guys, check out this video. We talk about the willingness of these characters to take us into World War III, which will be unlike any other conflict we've ever seen in the history of mankind, because it will be not just a nuclear war, it will be a nuclear annihilation. But you've got more and more world leaders talking about it, which is something that would absolutely destroy every aspect of our lives, not just our economies, but the very fabric of our standard of living. Humanity would just, you know, have to sit back and really ask itself some hard questions if anyone on this planet during this conflict presses a button and launches a nuclear weapon. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.